Okay. Hopefully, you guys can hear me, but good afternoon. My name is Tracy Justice, and I am the Be Bold coach and consultant. It feels so good to be back today. I did not plan it, I didn't schedule it, so this is just completely impromptu, and I like it that way. But I don't even know what this looks like. But so, what am I doing here? So, and I still left it as a test drive series because I still don't have a title for what I would like, the new show to be like, or what I want the next series to be about. But I enjoy coming here every Wednesday. It just gives me that assurance. Like it's just like that piece that I do that just helps me to feel like, okay, you're continuing to do what you say you're going to do. Because if you're anything like me, if I stop doing it for a long period of time, I'll get used to it and I'll just stop. And that's what I did not want to do. So I came on today, and I wanted to get a little fancy because I was just like, you're going to be like, what is she doing? I don't know. I just wanted to dress up for today's experiment, because I'm actually doing this live from my phone. You know how like we talk about that bold life, right? The bold life recipe. What are the things that, that gives you life, that makes you feel like, yes, I'm in control. I'm creating my life. I'm designing my life. And this was part of it. What I loved about doing the bold life every Wednesday is that it gave me something to really commit to. That was getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because this is not always a comfortable thing. But at the same time, I didn't like feeling like I was just locked to the studio, right? Like every Wednesday I had to be at the studio. I couldn't do anything else on Wednesdays. I have to be in the studio to create my videos. And to me, that's not freedom, and that's not the bold life. Not under the terms, not how I define it for myself. And so I wanted to come on here so not only try out the phone version, and yes, like I said, it's impromptu. So try out this phone version without making it a legit thing. So I get to experiment without feeling any pressure. I get to have fun and try it out and see if this is for me. So another reason why I did this, and just to see what it feels like to do it off from my phone. Right? Because at the end of the day, Bold Move Challenge is always going on. In what ways can you challenge yourself to be bold and do something uncomfortable? Right? And be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Be okay with that. So, and I also wanted to catch up on what I wanted to do for the show. And, if you're, as you come across this video and you watch it, if you can tell me, like, what are some of the things that you want to talk about? Because what I've noticed for me is that I like to get involved in everything. And let me just be transparent, because every time when I'm transparent, I feel empowered when I just share what I'm feeling. I don't want to feel pigeonholed. I think that's a fear of mine, being pigeonholed into one thing. So, if you know me, like, for example, because I ran for office, I don't want people to think that that's the only thing that I do or care about. I love local government. I think it's important when people in the community come together, rally together to support the community. I think that's awesome. I'd love to talk about that. And I felt like I couldn't talk about it here on The Bold Life because, especially here on LinkedIn, I'm just good. Like I said, I'm just going to keep it real. This is just freestyle conversations and updates. Sometimes I feel like I can't really talk about what I want to talk about, especially on LinkedIn, because it's such a professional platform, or it comes off as a professional platform. But what's funny is because people are people. People are people. So there's people on LinkedIn that would probably want to talk about other things besides, work all the time. Because at the end of the day, most of us work to supplement what we want to do in our lives for real. And sometimes it's not just, working. You work so that you can go on vacations, right? Because I just got back from Cancun, and that was just, I had a great time, right? Like, people who work, work to support their spouse, their significant other, because they want to go on vacations, right? They want to celebrate, those different little things. Or maybe, yes, you're on LinkedIn, but you want to talk about just other things that maybe could be taboo here. And for me, I just want to talk about everything. When I look at the bold life and what coaching is for me, I'm looking at my whole life. I'm looking at the whole being, my whole being. I just don't want pieces of me catered to. And I guess I needed to take some time to really think about that. And I think that that's why I kind of struggle, or I've been struggling with this show a bit, just trying to figure out exactly which avenue, which way, which path I want to take in this venture. And honestly, I believe in it all. I'm into our careers. How can we talk about our careers in a authentic way and really talk about the real things? Not talk about the things that everybody tends to talk about on LinkedIn, right? Because we talk about quiet quitting. Well, now there's quiet firing. Here's the thing, that's nothing new too, because we know where, when you've walked into a place in a work environment and you can feel like the environment is just not conducive to you, and you just feel like, am I being set up? You probably are, because now we have a term for it. It's called quiet firing. So that's something great to talk about, right? And then another thing I'd love to talk about is relationships. So not only relationships between coworkers and neighbors, right? Community neighbors, relationships. How do you interact with people? But even in our personal relationships, the relationships that matter to us, the relationships that tend to affect how we do at work, because if there's things going on at home and you have to go into work, sometimes you can't operate at your optimum, at your optimal level, right? So let's see, other things. Community. I love community. Are there other things? I'm not sure. I think there were other things that I was thinking about, but there are other things that I was thinking about, but I guess I can't really think about them right now. And I apologize, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background. So if you can hear that noise, I do apologize for that. But so I just, so as I'm thinking about what I want this show to look like, the new show to look like, I just didn't want to build it and allow it to become successful on a platform that didn't truly align with who I am. And so that's what this bold life is about. This bold life is about just challenging yourself and knowing what you want and just being intentional about that, being intentional about every step that you take. So I guess my answer is, I still don't know how I want this, how I want to go about, the show, but I love doing the show. So it's just thinking about what's the best platform to do, have the shows on, so that I can talk about anything, any and everything. So let's see, some other things that I wanted to catch up on. Because I thought about it, have I ever, I think I've shared my story as to the bold life, or the bold, being the Be Bold coach. But why is this whole journey important to me, and why am I sharing it with you all? For a long time, and I've said it in a different way, but for a long time, I've always felt like I've just wanted to be bold and do the things that I wanted to do. And I would even judge myself, because there are so many things that I want to do. I love to sing. I'd love to facilitate. I'd love to moderate. There's just so many different things, but how do you put it under a label? It's a hard thing. And that's why I call it the bold life. Being bold enough to do all the things that you want to do, anything that it is that you want to do, and find a way to make it happen, And my mission, my journey in life is, how do I help others get to that place too? How do I help others, be willing to really take a hard look at themselves and their lives, and really ask themselves, am I happy? Am I happy? And I know like that topic has really been tough sometimes, because I think as a Christian woman, sometimes you feel bad for not feeling happy all the time. Like you judge that, like I should be happy. I'm not grateful enough. And I feel like there's not a lot of spaces where you can go to where you can talk about these things, because I feel for me it's always been, oh, put it in God's hands, put it in God's hands, when really it's so much more than that. And so I want to create that space for people. I want to create that space for people to explore their spirituality and explore what it is that they want to do, because I believe that these things go hand in hand. I don't believe that you can take spirituality out of what you're doing. I think that when you add spirituality to what you're doing, you get to see that everything that you're doing is really a lesson for you to pay attention to really listen to. So if something's going on at work, when you add spirituality to it, you'll realize that it's not only at work, it's something that's showing up in different areas of your life. How do you get to a place where you can kind of rein in all those different aspects about you and realize that it's really one thing that you're dealing with, but you're dealing with it in a scattered way? How can we deal with things as whole beings? Like that's the space I want to create for people, where people feel safe enough to question their thoughts, or to even question your thoughts in a way like, why is this considered bad? Or why is this considered good? Just how can we get to a place where we just stop walking around like robots, right? Stop walking around like robots and really live life intentionally, awake, right? Awake. Like we always hear the word woke, woke, woke. And I think the word woke is such a great word. I don't know necessarily what it means, because you go on the internet and woke means so many different things, but I think it's such a key word, because we all need to wake up. We're all sleeping. How do we wake up in a safe space? That's what I want to do, for everything that we do. I think spirituality based, way of living helps out in the different areas in our lives. And that's the space that, I'm creating here. How do you allow spirituality? How do you talk about spirituality and then talk about your work? How can you talk about your work in a way that you see that it's really a spiritual lesson that you're really gaining from it, right? Because it's never about the thing, it's about the sensations we get from things. Right? It's never about your mate. It's never about your spouse. It's always about the sensations that you get from your spouse. It's never about food, right? Like, people who are trying to lose weight, it's never really about the food, right? So sometimes, we focus on the food. We think the issue is the food, but it's not the food. It's really your spirituality. Do you know who you are? Who are you? What do you want? Who are you meant to be? What are you meant to do here? And then being able to connect to that so that you're able to change everything else in your life, right? Like we can't I think it's time where we stop worrying about the different things, right? Like I think election is still going on, right? Because they're still trying to tabulate who's going to get, who's going to be responsible for the House, who's going to take control of the House. And it just cracks me up because I'm just like, God has control of everything, right? Like God has control of everything. Like, I don't believe in God and country. I believe in God and people, right? God and people. It's the people. It's the people that really matter. And once we allow people to be themselves, be authentically themselves, and really look at things from a spiritual background, and it doesn't have to be religious, right? Because not everybody's religious, but I believe that everybody has the capacity to be spiritual, because it's really about looking at your energy. How do you feel? What are you thinking about? Like all those things that are invisible. Where are they? Where are you positioned? Are you coming from a place of abundance? Are you coming from a place of lack? All of that stuff is important. How do we talk about that thing? How do we talk about that? That's where I'm at. And these are the things that I've been thinking about. Like, how do I want this show to go on? And not pigeonhole myself. Nope, nope, nope. Being very intentional about that. That's what the bold life is about, right? The bold life is know what you want. Are you always going to know it 100%? No, but know what you want and then move. Know what you want, then move. Know who you are, know what you want, move. Know what you want, know who you are, move. Know what you want, know who you are, move. That's what it's about. And as you keep doing that every day, you commit to that. You can't tell me that your life is not going to change. Life doesn't change because we just do this huge overhaul overnight. No, it's the small things that matter. It's the small things that matter. The little things that you do every day. Every day, every day, little practice. Am I being present? Am I present? Am I present? What am I thinking about right now? How am I feeling right now? Where am I feeling it in my body? When I feel this in my particular body, in this particular area, what thoughts do I tend to have? Right? Because it's these invisible things that influence what we see in the physical realm. Gosh, I just love this stuff. Like, I eat this stuff up and I think about it because this is who I've been ever since I was a little girl. When I think about just connecting with people, understanding human nature, and then understanding God, and I'll tell you this, nobody can teach you God. You've got to know God for yourself. Nobody can teach it to you. I don't care how many schools, I don't care what's out there. I said it, you heard it here. You can only know God for yourself. If you don't have a relationship with God, and I mean that spiritual, I'm not talking about religious, I'm talking about that spiritual. You have to know, I don't care if you believe in any, you have to know that you are not here on your own merit. You did not create this energy within yourself and said, okay, go ahead, heart, pump. You didn't do it. You have no idea. You have no idea how it's done. That means there is a higher power. How do you connect to that higher power? How do you find that strength? How do you connect to that higher power so that you can become what it is that you're trying to be? This is what we're talking about here on this station. You know what I mean? On this channel. It's about that spirituality-based way of living. Knowing that you can go out after those things. You can try to attain after things. But let me tell you, honey, you gonna get it and it's not gonna do anything for you. Because I know, because I've done it. You think, once I get this, I'm gonna be happy. Once I get that, I'm gonna be happy. Nope, it doesn't work like that. How can we all get to the place where we can just get to the place where we hear this small, still voice within our hearts, urging us to go on, urging us to go on. And sometimes if you're not intentional about that, you won't hear it. And I believe that everybody has a journey. So, of course, I'm not here to judge the journey. So if this is not where you're at, it's not where you're at. Life is still good. Life is still great. Life is still filled with love. This is all I want to talk about, right? And not be pigeonholed into. So I guess that's where I'm at with this show, right? Like, I just want to talk about everything, especially when it comes to politics. I want to talk about politics. I just want to get into it, but not in a mean way, not in a toxic way. Like, how can we start these conversations? How can we talk about these things that affect our lives in an indirect way, but, we go after other things? Like, how can we talk about these things that really affect community? How can we talk about careers, relationships? What else do I like? Money, what's going on in the country, but not the way the news talks about it. How can we just get real people that are willing to be respectful and just talk about these things and talk about how it affects us spiritually? Because it's all affecting us. Mental health is eating us all up, eating us all up. You know, I guess that's the space that I want to create. That's the space that I'm trying to create. That I'm looking to create. And I'm just thinking, how that's going to work. I wanted to share the updates because here's the thing about the bold life. You can say that you want to do something and you do it, and it's great, but sometimes you don't know how far or what you need to think about until you do it. And so I'm saying all that to say it's not always going to be so clean. It's not always going to be so smooth. But are you willing to take that step? Are you willing to take a chance on what it is that you're looking for and take that step forward and move forward? Are you willing? That's what this is all about. But I also wanted to talk about, I do have a Bold Life coaching circle coming up December 8th, and you can find that on Eventbrite. Now, I just remembered just now, so I don't even have the link to it. So I will add that to this video after I post it. But I will send that out. But a coaching circle, the Bold Life coaching circle, will be up to for up to 12 people. That'll allow me to keep it nice and intimate, and we'll have worksheets to work through, engaging exercises. But the whole, let's see, what is the word I'm looking for? The experience, what you can expect to get out of this is where you can spend 90 minutes really just in a space where with other like-minded people, really drilling down, what is it that you want? I would say that part is the hardest part. Everything else rolls into place, but it first begins with, do you know what you want? Do you know why you want it? You know who you have to be to get that, so we get to work on that together. And that will start December 8th. That's on Eventbrite. That's going to be a virtual coaching circle. So it won't be in person. It'll be a virtual circle. And I'll have more information about that. But wanted to also share that. Let's see. So that's an update. Let's see. Is there any other updates? No, I guess I just wanted to, try, like I said, I wanted to try this phone, try the phone version. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to watch the video, see how this looks, and see if I like how it looks, because I don't know what it looks like on the user's end. Let's see. And then wanted to share that, just because you go on a bold move challenge, you take on a bold move challenge, doesn't mean it's just going to be smooth sailing. It's okay. That's why I created this space, because if you've done something and you've tried something and maybe it didn't work out and you kind of just want to vent about it, that's what this space is. And we can talk about it and see, because at the end of the day, you're always getting something out of it. But because of the story we tell ourselves, it's hard to see that we're always getting something out of it. We're always getting what we want from something. And so that's what this space is also about. Your accountability sister. You know what I'm saying? Your accountability auntie up in here. So that's what this space is about. So it's all right, because that's why I want to keep it real and show you what I'm doing on my Bold Move Challenge. Is it all figured out? No, because you can hear it's all clunky, but that's all right. I'm having fun because I'm in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not waiting for somebody else to lead me. I'm leading myself, and it feels good because I know that I'm following the voice of God. So let's see, what else I wanted to share. Yeah, I just had to come on today because I needed it. I needed it. I needed it. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you out there. You've tried something new and you kind of take a break, and then sometimes it's a little hard to get back on, but jump right back on so that you can keep that momentum, keep going. So let's see. I am so shocked that girl, when I say I like to talk, I can talk. It is 24 minutes and I've just been running my mouth this whole time. But that is great. So like I said, this was just updates. It's just an impromptu. This is nothing that I've been putting together, this was just like, you know what, let's just do it, see how it is, see if you like it. And that's what the bold life is all about. Just putting yourself out there and trying. So, what will I leave you with today? There's a quote from Henry David Thoreau. I want to say it's Henry David Thoreau. And he talked about how most men, because of course back then they just always want to talk about men, but I'm going to say men and say women, human beings, right? But lead lives in desperation. Lead quiet lives in desperation, and lead lives in quiet desperation. Meaning, people act like, that they're content with their cars, their homes, their fancy jewels and all that kind of stuff, knowing good and well they're not. Right? So don't, and what did he say? Don't go, don't go to your grave with the song in your heart unsung. Right? So I'm gonna leave that with you. If you have a song in your heart, please, 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 please do not go to the grave without anybody hearing it. It's probably a tune that we could all hum to and help our day, and to help us get through our day. If you have a desire in your heart, and I'm only talking to the people that have a desire in their heart, a strong desire. If you have a strong desire in your heart, an urge that is tugging at you, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. We need it. We need you to do it. Okay. All right. So I am signing off. So yeah, I think I'll be back next Wednesday. I'll have more information, but join me every Wednesday, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and trying to figure out how to get this on Instagram. If anybody knows how, hit me up. Let me know. Is there a way to get videos on Instagram like this? All right. Bye. Talk to you later.